So on that note, I'll introduce the Prime Minister. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sam. It's great to be here with you today. The Super Home Buyer Scheme is the next phase in how we're helping Australians to own their own home. And it works hand in glove with the policies that we've put in place to help those at another stage in their life to downsize. Now, this does two things. It ensures that we are reinforcing people's retirement savings, but we're also freeing up more housing supply, which does put downward pressure on the rising costs of housing across the country. This plan is about utilising people's own savings, their own superannuation, so they don't have to stand on the curb and watch house prices run away from them and they're unable to get in and own their own home. Now, as a government, we have had major progress in this area since the last election. The same time before the last election, I announced the Home Guarantee Scheme. And together with Home Builder, the first home super saver that we'd previously introduced that allows people to save for their deposit in their superannuation scheme at lower rates of tax, all of that together with our investments into affordable housing in the country through the National Housing Finance and Investment Corporation has seen 300,000 Australians and more get into their own home in the last 3 years. And for first home buyers, we had 164,000 last year who were able to buy their first home at a time when house prices were rising. That's up around 60,000 and more on what we would normally see on average in Australia for first home buyers. We're helping first home buyers and Australians own their own home. And this scheme, which says you're in control of your own money, you're in control of where it's invested, you're back in the driver's seat when it comes to fulfilling the aspirations that you have, this scheme enables you to do that. Now, it's a well-calibrated scheme. It's been well designed. We've thought it through carefully. We've ensured that you can only get access up to 40% of what's in your superannuation scheme. But importantly, once you ultimately sell the property, then you put the money back into your superannuation scheme, including any of the capital gains you've made in that time. And you know what? You don't pay tax on that either, because it's your own home. The money sitting in your super account, the earnings that are there, that attracts tax. But when you invest in your own home through your super scheme, it doesn't. And on the earnings that you've had from your own home, the capital appreciation and the original capital sum that you've invested in it goes back into your superannuation. The learnings we've had is that when people get to retirement, then if they own their own home, they are much better off and much less dependent on government support. They have more choices. They're more independent. What these two policies working together do is help achieve both people's retirement savings goals and their home ownership goals, which means that Australians have greater security and can plan for their future with confidence. Now, the downsizing plan that we've extended to those who are 55 years old and older, that is already making a very big difference for Australians, and particularly for women, for their superannuation. They disproportionately have invested more of what's gone back into people's super as a result of the downsizing plan. And we know women's superannuation is a real challenge. The plan we've put in place for downsizing is helping women have better retirement balances when they downsize their home. There have been other challenges that have prevented that along the way during their working life. And this policy has been helping women. And ensuring we reduce that age now to 55, it can only help more. So our plan is about putting Australians in charge of their future with their own money. It's their money. We're not going to tell them what to do with it. They'll make their own decisions. But we're not going to lock them away from it. We're not going to stand there and let them stand on the curb while the housing prices run away from them and they're not getting that opportunity. And we're meeting people here today who are going to take up that opportunity. We've met others who've already taken up the opportunity right here in Springfield, already built their home using the Home Builder program. So there's only one way you can get access to your money in your superannuation to help you buy your home, and that is to vote LNP. That is to vote Liberal and National this Saturday. Labor will never let you do it. They think it's their money to tell you what to do with. I believe it's your money. And to get access to your own money to help you buy a house, the only way to achieve that is to vote Liberal and National next Saturday.
Prime Minister.
Several members, influential members of your own party in recent years have come out against this super for housing idea, including Peter Dutton in 2017 and John Howard last year, who said that super was for retirement. And Malcolm Turnbull came out last year and said that it was the craziest idea he'd heard. Are they all wrong, and why is it suddenly a good idea?
Well, I was with Peter Dutton and John Howard yesterday, and they were enthusiastically in support of the plan. And this is something I've been working towards for some time. I've had a great passion for this. I started the First Home Super Saver Scheme, and Labor opposed it. They opposed it, and they've always opposed it. This was the plan which enabled you to put more into your superannuation so you could accelerate your home deposit savings so you could deal with getting to that deposit. Labor opposed it. The Home Builder program, Labor bagged it. They mocked it. It's helped tens of thousands of people to own their own home. And here we are today saying you can access your own money, protect your retirement savings and get in your own home, and Labor are opposing it.
So have Dutton and Howard changed their mind?
Clearly.
Your own superannuation minister this morning, Jane Hume, said people will bring forward some of their decisions to buy a house earlier, and for that reason it will probably bring up housing prices temporarily. By what percentage increase are you anticipating this policy will add to house prices, and have you thought carefully about this policy?
Yeah, we have thought very carefully about this policy. And when you take this policy together with the downsizing initiative, remember, this gives people access to their superannuation to buy a home, which includes buying new homes. That means new stock. You would have seen on the plan that you saw in there, whole areas of new land opening up for development, which will mean new stock. That means more supply. That means putting downward pressure on what is otherwise rising pressure. The number one issue that forces up housing prices in this country is insufficient supply. And this policy, the downsizing policy, the home builder policy, has all been about increasing and supporting that supply. And that's what can put downward pressure. So when taken together, Jane was referring in isolation, when taken together as Michael Sukkar was, and when you look at the proportion of first home buyers of the entire real estate market, it's quite marginal. It's quite marginal. So I know Labor doesn't like this idea. I know Labor doesn't want you to have access to your super. I know they think that those who run superannuation are more important to them than you are to them, because they won't let you get access to your money. They want to keep your money in someone else's control. I don't agree with that. I just don't agree with it. It's your money and it should be your home.